Welcome to Just Good Bits. Today we're going to talk about sausage. We're going to break a pork butt down, and the reason we're doing that on a keto's low-carb diet, it's the perfect package. It's got, the pork butt itself has 20% fat in it and 80% meat. You can buy a little more pork fat in the form, whatever you can find in the store, streak of lean, bacon, and add more fat to it if you need more fat to your punch. And we've got many different recipes that you can create from this. Let's get started breaking down the pork butt. That's first. Let's get started. You basically want to cut the meat off the bone and cube it. If you find any gristle, you want to remove it. We're going to cut it in small sections first to make it manageable. And you will find the bone. I've just found the bone here. Turn it around so I can work with it. And when you find the bone, just turn the blade towards the bone and cut along, and you'll get your meat off it. You have to work it. Be careful, keep your fingers out of there. I'm going to try to show you what I'm doing here. This is not the best way to cut, but cutting away from you is a good idea, and that's what I'm doing. And we're going to keep cutting away piece by piece. Close these. I thought just take a minute, discuss the fact I have a boning knife here, not a French knife. It's got a narrower blade. It makes it easier to maneuver around bones. So it's good, better for this than a chef's knife. Use what you've got. If you want to shop for a chef's knife, this is one I've had for a long time. Boning knife. And here's another one, which is a little cheaper. And you can get that at Sam's probably for about $5, $6 maybe. But you can shop around. This is a cheaper one. It works just as well. Now, I'm going to show you something. I hope it'll pick up on the camera. We got the bone here. We're starting to see the bone. I'm going to turn around here. You can start seeing the shape of the bone. We're going to follow that bone and try to get the meat off there, try to get the bone out. It'll make it a whole lot easier once we get there. And we got a U shape in the bone here. So we're going to take this piece of meat out. We're grinding this, so we're not looking for specific sizes necessarily. Careful where you put your fingers, folks. Try not to cut towards you or anybody else. You put the knife down. You can move it around, you can see where the bone is. See, when I move the bone, it gives us a little more definition so we can see where it's at. Then we can follow the knife along. You use the back of the boning knife to scrape this a little bit. It helps sometimes where it's hard to get into. Now we got more definition that's going to come up on the end of this bone.
What can you do with that bone?
Well, you can roast it to put it in soups. If you roast it, you can get a different flavor in your soup. It's mainly a stock bone. Put it in the oven, roast it, and cook it. Put some tomato paste on it, some seasoning. That'll give it extra complexity to use in a stock. It's typically done that way with beef bone. There's no reason you can't do that with a pork bone. Now, it's going to be a whole lot easier to cut out since we got the bone out of there.
Why don't you say we're going to show you how to do it in a video?
We'll show you how to make a stock and roast that and make a stock of that in a video. It'll be a little stock because it's not much bone. If you have 4 or 5 of these, if you're doing this on a regular basis, it'd be a whole lot easier. we'll show you a small batch. And that video for the roasting the bone and making a stock will be right here. Pork stock, why not? You notice I'm not really trying to separate this into muscle groups like I did with the chuck roast. We're grinding the whole thing here. We're not making stew. You could try to do that with this. Use the same technique, follow the grain. But this is from a shoulder. There's some complex muscle groups in here. And if you want to know how to follow those muscle groups, refer to our chuck roast breakdown here. You can use that same technique with any cut. If you look at this, you see the layers of fat in there? That's one of the reasons this is so good. There's really marbled, well distributed for keeping it moist and for ketos. This is your traditional cut for making pork sausage out of, whether it be Italian, breakfast sausage, you name it. Now, I've got a lot of it broke down. We need to break it down a little further now to make it small enough for your grinder. If you're not using a grinder, you can use a food processor. You might want to cut it a little smaller. We made Italian sausage in a food processor. If you want to see that, the video is here. And the recipe's there. If you'd rather do it in a grinder, it still applies. This grinder gives you a much more refined sausage. It's a whole lot higher quality sausage. But you use what you got. If you don't have a grinder, you can use a food mill, a food processor. So you want a little piece like that, you know, maybe a little bigger than your thumb, something the grinder can handle easy. And since you got the idea, that's all we need for now. We'll be back after we cut this up and show you what it looks like. Okay, we finished cubing up our meat. We got small pieces. Now this size is fine for a grinder. The grinder will chew this up just fine. There's a second reason we want to cut this up small, and that's to gain surface area for our seasoning. Typically when I make sausage, it's not a one-day project. You cut the meat up, you're going to season it with whatever recipe you got, mix it well, you're going to cover it as tight as you can, put it in the fridge overnight, or a couple of days. And then you'll grind it. This gives a chance for the seasoning and the salt to penetrate the meat, and it'll blend better when you grind it. Now, if you're using a food processor, you may want to cut them up even smaller depending on your food processor. You have to have the power to chew these up in a food processor using a pulse action. Well, let's go ahead and weigh this up, see what we got. I think I got enough here for 2 batches. I might be fooled, it might be 3. Let's weigh it up and see what I've got. Most batches are 4 to 5 pounds, some are more for the standard recipes. I'm hoping I have 10 pounds here. If not, I'll have to divide it up into 2 separate portions and refigure the seasoning. But we're not going to have 10 pounds. I can see that already.
You can mention you're going to have different videos.
Okay, we got 8.5 pounds. So we're going to break it up in 4 1/4 pounds and 4 1/4 pounds, and we're going to make 2 different sausage videos coming up. And we're going to have other sausage videos coming in the future. We are on ketos, and this is the best way to get a variety of sausage, to make it yourself. Giving you an example, Italian sausage. A lot of people think there's, just 3 recipes, hot, mild, and sweet. Now, every province, every town, and practically every family in the town has their own version of Italian sausage. There's a lot of variations. You can not get bored. You don't have to buy the same sausage all the time. Do it yourself, gain some confidence, save some money, and it'll be fresh. You won't have the sulfites, you'll control the ingredients, you'll be better off and a whole lot healthier. And we're done with this video. We'll be back with sausage videos later. Thank you.